Hey guys.
Hello, everyone.
How's everyone doing?
And you're having a great night.
Yeah, it's been it feels like fall here. It's the
Mm-hmm.
first day of fall, actually.
A rainy fall
A
so far.
rainy fall day.
Just a
It's
bunch of
been,
rain the last couple days.
yeah, it's been actually pretty cold today. So it only got into the 50s, which 50s are warm. But like when you've been in 90s and 80s and all of a sudden that's just the high, it kind of,
But
it's
the
a little
leaves
cold.
haven't started changing colors just yet.
Not
So
yet, not yet. But the corn is
hanging on.
starting to get that nice golden caramel color, like even with like the greens and stuff. But it's kind of, I know he likes it. Fall is Mark's favorite time of the year, but
Yeah, I
it
enjoy the cooler
I
weather.
enjoy it for different reasons than I enjoy summer and that. But I'm not ready for cold weather, y'all. I'm just not ready.
Yep.
Hello, Rachel. How are you? How's everything going down there? You guys still getting rain? Because we're getting rain. Like we've
Yeah.
had rain the last 2 days. I think it stops tomorrow morning, and I'm really, really
And
excited for
last
that to
night rained
happen.
heavy enough that we woke up at 2 a.m. because it was coming down
Yeah,
pretty hard.
yeah. It
So
was kind of crazy how
it
hard it was
has to be
raining.
raining pretty hard to do that. So
Yeah. Well, Mark like sat up and like
yeah.
looked towards the window. He's like, "Is that rain?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"I think so." Hello, Ashley B. How are you? How's everything going over there? Guys, we've just been kind of swamped by the rain, like
Yeah.
literally. We went from like no rain to just downpours for the last few days, which means everything's been at a standstill. The goats don't want to go out to the field. They just
Yeah.
want to stand in the barn and mat me. And I'm like, no, there's browse out there.
Although
Go
today they
browse.
went out because I mean goats can tell if
Yeah.
it's gonna rain all day, and so they
Yeah.
went outside, just went ahead and grazed because
Yeah. You can always tell
they
here,
weren't
like,
going to get a dry spell.
the animals that usually don't like to get wet, if it's going to rain all day, they'll just go out and get wet because they
Yep.
just know there's no
Now the
reprieve.
ducks, they love
The ducks stood out in it all day. You could tell they were in heaven.
they had a little stream through their pen, and they were
They did.
tickled by that big time. So
Oh, Rachel,
uh,
rain every stinking day.
wow,
Ugh. Is it at least cooling down there for you guys?
as long as you like in the summer when we get the rain like this, so we get the humidity with it, which
Yeah.
sucks. Nice
Yeah,
thing
it
is when
really sucks.
in the fall when it rains, you don't get that. It actually cools
Hmm.
down, which is nice.
Sometimes we don't have a transition though, and that's
Hmm.
where I complain. Where I'm like, you can't go from boiling us, Mother Nature, to putting us on ice. We have to have the gradual decline. Hey, Sandy, how are you? Us kids are doing okay.
Yep.
How's things out in your neck of the woods? What you been up to lately? Any big projects?
Yep. Haas says driving but listening.
Well, I
Watch
guess I
us,
won't
Haas.
hold that against you.
Multitask. Do
Yeah.
both.
Yeah. Not that we would promote any
Yeah,
unsafe driving habits. Yeah.
I would. I would promote
Of
it.
course. Mark does. Sometimes I'm like, do you want me to text that or do you want me to read it to you? Because he's scared.
Yeah.
He
I'm
does,
not
he's
great at
bad for
texting
it
anyway,
sometimes.
so
Or I'm like, hey, let me just take that out of your hand because you're scaring me a little bit. Hey, Haas, I was thinking about participating in your Harvest Moon giveaway because it was fun last year.
mm-hmm.
I know I need to get a video
Yeah,
up.
Ashes are brainstorming ideas on what the prizes could be.
Yeah, and I've been waiting for the weather to clear up so I can actually film outside and it not be like a boring in my house
Probably
video.
swag, because now we got swag.
Swag, yes. And I was talking to Mark. I'm like, I'm gonna have to actually buy him swag for when we go to Homesteaders of America because I
don't have
want
any
him to
swag.
represent.
Yeah, I don't have any Mulberry
You
seeds.
don't have any. You don't
No.
support my endeavors as a YouTube creator.
I don't honestly wear much with logos. I just like the plain
It
Jane
says the
thing.
guy wearing a logo right
Yeah.
now on his
Uh,
shirt.
the one-off.
I don't really
These
like wearing
were
logos.
well,
More your
these were
logo.
given to me, so they are an exception. I don't buy much, so
Were those given to you?
yeah.
Really? Did you
Mm-hmm.
win those in a contest on
Mm-hmm.
who gave them to you?
What about their products? They come with the
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. You
We're,
could buy a product for me and I'll send you pictures.
it's technically the same thing, I think. 2 for 1. Rachel said this afternoon has been really nice though, sunny and cool.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's
good.
nice.
That's good.
Get
I'm glad that you
a
kind of,
reprieve
yeah.
from the rain.
You
Yeah.
just need a little rest from it. And that's kind of where we're at. But we have not been experiencing anything like what you
Mm-hmm.
experienced down there. I don't know how you do it.
And cooler
Like, it's
weather
driving me
coming
nuts.
this week. Yeah, because we made some heavy progress on our duck pen.
Yeah,
The new
we
duck
did
pen,
on
and then
Sunday,
where we're
right before
moving
the rain came
to
in.
the garden boxes. Actually, Ashley has started to tear apart some of the garden boxes to bring them up. So
It's kind of sad.
trying to visualize how the layout's going to work.
Yeah. Well, and then I'm also like between doing the cost of how much it would take, like via our time and materials to build new boxes, or to just be a yuppie and buy them. Even though we're far from being a yuppie, but it would just be nice to just splurge on something for once where it actually saves us time. And I've actually been looking at like the Vigo beds, not just because Roots and Refuge had a video on it this week, but like we've been looking at it before prior to that. So
I actually like them too because they come in some colors,
some different colors,
and adds a little bit.
You get like a 9-in-1, and you can do all these different types of sizes of beds. They give you all the pieces, and you kind of assemble them how you want them to be. And I'm kind of in love with that idea.
The metal we think would be longer lasting,
and I'm hoping it might help me start my garden a little bit earlier. Because that place where we're moving our garden gets more sun.
Yeah.
So in the early springtime, when the soil's struggling to get to temperature before we can plant anything into it, I'm hoping maybe the metal would help with that, especially if I have really good nitrate-rich compost down in there, that it would like heat up the soil so I could actually start seeds ahead of time and have a longer harvest season. There's method to the madness.
We are great harvesting pumpkin squash, 286
Whoa,
pounds yesterday.
Sandy, that's amazing.
Leaving for Arizona about 2 weeks, so busy. So you're trying to wrap up everything before you leave.
Got to get that harvested. I tell you what, you put in all that work, you need to harvest.
Pumpkin squash, how big do those get? Like 286 pounds is a large number.
Yeah.
So are they pretty heavy, like individually, or do you just have a bunch of them?
And what are you going to do with them? Are you going to sell pumpkin squash, or are you going to preserve it or can it or make it into something edible? What are you doing, Sandy?
Today, actually, we picked up some gourds. And
dried gourds. My mom wanted dried gourds for like crafts and stuff. So
probably birdhouses.
Probably. Who could say no to more birdhouses on their property? So, oh my gosh, the goats have not been happy. Their paddock has been standing. But you know what you should do? You should hurry up and trim their hooves after the water's gone, because they'll be nice and soft and you'll be able to trim them easy.
Yeah, Ashley was worried about that with her barn. So
yeah, I went out there this morning. Was like, oh, please don't.
Fortunately, it was dry. So we've actually had a fairly long dry spell before this rain came through. So.
Yeah, so the ground is hungry or thirsty, I should say. So the garden beds we're looking at, I think, what was it, 18 inches?
Yeah, we're definitely looking for taller to help.
I would like them above 2 feet, but then that's a lot of fill. But we will be using hugelkultur, and we have a lot of down trees where we're thinking about cutting them almost like the length of the bed and quartering, because like the tree, like seriously, I can't get my arms like around the trunk that came down in the goat pen.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about using that like at the base. And then I've actually been saving a lot of, I've been putting off cleaning out our goat stalls and cleaning out the chicken coop for when that happens, so that I can just take it directly over there. Because I know if I take it to another pile, odds are like I will forget, or you can ask him, like I get tunnel vision. So if I'm working on something, odds are I'm going to be focusing on it, and I'm not going to think I have all this compost over here. I'm going to go clean the chicken coop again and not use the H stuff, which the H stuff should be on top. I know, but yeah. We're hoping 17 at least.
Yeah. And I think what we've seen, a lot of them are about 18 inches high, and which would even account for what we built. So I'm using boards that are about 5.5 inches thick, and we're thinking about upping it to 3.
Wide.
Huh? Yeah. Oh, I said thick. Yeah. I meant wide. Yeah.
The very thick beds. Insulating
big old
them.
railroad ties. But yeah, so I was going to use 3 of them to get up to about 18 inches. And even the beds we're looking at online, like Ashley said, they're about 18 inches high to save our backs. Right now we have, they're about 2 boards high, which is close to 12 inches, but it is backbreaking sort of maneuver and weed all that.
And that's something we've really been taking into account too, is that if we build our own beds, like we can make them in a way where as I get older or my back starts to tell me you can't bend over this long over a garden, I could probably put boards on top, and we could we could build it higher as we need it to. Whereas with like these manufactured metal beds, probably can't do that. So I'm really trying to weigh my options and look at what is my immediate need, and over time, what will my need become? Because I really don't want to have to pull this out in 5 years and redo it again.
Yeah.
We're looking for longevity, but also functionality.
Yeah. Especially since they'll be close to the house. We do want them to sort of look nice as well.
Yeah.
Including, we have a couple that we'll probably place up against the house. We have flower beds on that side, and we'll actually be replacing them with vegetable gardens, most likely.
Create
Ashley
my
still likes
flowers.
mixing in flowers though.
I
so-
do, and they're actually the only reason I've been kind of putting that off is they're actually peonies or peonies or however you want to say that. I call them peonies. My mom called them peonies, but they're actually from both of my grandmother's flower beds, and they still flower. So emotionally, like I'm attached to those
Mhm.
peonies, where I'm like they have to move. Like I'm not putting a bed over top of them,
Mhm.
so I have to actually go probably pull those tubers very soon and move them somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're easier to move around this time of year too. They're already done. They're spent. They're asleep, so I won't shock them or anything.
Hello, Margie.
Hi,
You
Margie.
can always be lurking.
You
That's
lurk as
totally-
much as you want, lovely.
Yep.
We are okay with that. We know you're here.
Let's see, she said largest was 50 plus pounds, smallest 3 pounds, mostly given
Wow.
to family and friends.
That's
Wow.
so sweet of you, though,
That's
especially
a
around
wide
this
range,
time of
though.
year.
50 plus. to
That is
three.
a wide range.
That's
So,
pretty cool.
how many different varieties did you plant, Sandy? Because like I get really sidetracked when it comes. You can ask him. Like I will buy 13 varieties of tomatoes because like I want to see all of the varieties, but then I feel like I don't focus and I don't actually get to see like what varieties I appreciate because like I get overwhelmed with how many
Mhm.
varieties I choose.
Hello, Bomber Steve.
Hello, Bomber Steve.
Using the Sweeney's Creek
Yes,
Farm channel.
and I did get your email. I saw it today. I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. So I just need to pan some things out. Our daughter has a birthday party that day where we, because of like the COVID and everything else, we're like, your friends can finally come over and we'll take you guys out to like a gaming arcade.
Yep.
So we should be able to do that, but I will email you back. I don't want you to think I've left you hanging. I just didn't get around my email quicker, as quick as I would have liked this week.
No, another note. What projects are you working on this week? I know
Yes.
he's always working
I
on something.
know. You always put us to shame. You always tell us what you're working on. I'm like, I need the energy
I
that
feel like I
Bomber
use
Steve
him as
has.
encouragement, actually.
Yeah, you're our
sometimes.
inspiration, Bomber Steve. So keep it coming.
Hello, Patty.
Hey, hi. How are you? Yoo-hoo.
Patty said 18 inches high is a perfect height for raised beds. Mine are currently 36. Wow, at the top edge. With 24 inches of soil. The 18-inch beds I had were much better for several reasons.
Did you find that with like keeping that foot from the top of the soil to the top of your box cause shadows on your plants and like cause them to get leggy or anything?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious because I thought about the same thing. I'm like, I could plant them lower and then fill them up as I need to too. So I'm glad you brought that up. But then I started thinking like, well, they get a lot of sun there, but like the shadow at specific times of the year, I'm afraid it'll cause my plants to get leggy. I was just wondering if you've had any experience with that.
Yep. Have your lumber prices dropped? They have,
A little bit.
not to what they were before.
Yeah. Are we
last
around
year.
half? Because she's around half. That's pretty good, Sandy, though. Like that's.
Yeah, I think ours are getting close though.
Yeah.
And the good thing is also now there's stock coming in. For a little bit after prices dropped, it was still hard to find it. So like
It's
even though
difficult.
prices dropped it, but I just went and bought quite a few 4x4s for the duck pen and garden beds.
Yeah.
For our garden, and they had a whole bundle that they just brought in, and price wasn't that bad.
No.
So
This poor guy's been digging post holes for
yeah.
3 weeks, and I get wind. I'm just now to the point where I feel like I'm about 100%, where I don't really feel like I get winded doing little things. So I'm hoping I can help throw the post hole diggers.
The running joke in our family is we're using our PhD, which is post hole diggers.
I've been using them a lot lately too, guys.
A lot cheaper than a real PhD. See, Bomber Steve said we are making raised beds at the moment. Sides are frames made from red gum cut from 80-year-old cattle fence. Oh, that's cool. With corrugated iron walls. They are 8 foot by 4 foot and 2 foot tall.
I love the corrugated iron walls on the inside of them. They make them look so rustic.
Yep.
Super rustic. Actually, he showed me something on Facebook Marketplace. He's like, we could use these, and that's basically what it was. It was like the old rustic tin off of like the side of a building or roof. But it was really beautiful.
Wow,
7 varieties.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, no
good for you, Sandy. You're gonna be our inspiration too to get out and do more.
Have we planted pumpkin squash? You tried.
I didn't plant any pumpkins this year. You told me not to plant pumpkins.
I know.
Well, I didn't plant no pumpkins this year. I will probably plant them next year. We usually just have them randomly growing, but this year I didn't have any volunteers. Yeah, because I would feed them to like the goats, and the goats would plant them around the field, but I didn't see any this year.
Yeah, last year they got tangled up real bad with some of the other stuff and sort of choked it out.
They choked it out, and I just poor placement on my part. Sometimes I get more on, it'll look cool this way instead of, is this functional? This is the best for the plant. I get carried away with aesthetics sometimes.
Let's See, red gum is an Aussie hardwood eucalyptus tree
Eucalyptus
that's
tree.
tough, rot, and termite resistant.
Sounds like you
Wow.
cannot go wrong with it. On
Can't
the
beat
seed.
that.
Sounds like you can't go wrong using that.
Perfect for garden boxes for sure. Rachel said, so actually I'm going to be bringing one of my goats next month. Super excited. Any advice for first time? It's funny because you actually just shared a video.
Well, actually, from the last video I just did for is your goat ready to breed? And then I was looking at my thumbnail, I'm like, is this misleading? Because the standpoint I took from that was how I'm preparing my goats to know if they are ready to breed health wise. But I would just say make sure they're all healthy going in. 100%. It does make or break a doe if she's carrying a heavy parasite load before you breed her. I mean, you can always run and play catch up, but I've just found it's better. Like right now, like check her for mancha, make sure everything's good, make sure you have loose minerals, mineral deficiencies, or if they're overweight, will cause them to have a hard time to conceive. So you kind of want to take that stuff into consideration, and vice versa. If there's if you don't like keeping loose minerals, though, you can always give Ruffleman because it disperses into their system quicker than the loose minerals. But be careful because you can't overdose goats.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of those things where it's great for like an instant result, but just be careful with it. Don't get too heavy-handed.
I'd say also pay attention to the bucks as well because when they're running, we've noticed they drop weight pretty quick.
Yeah.
And Ashley does encourage feed with them.
Yeah,
it's easy to focus on the does because they'll be carrying, but at the same point.
Yeah, and I don't know your feeding routine either, but I flesh out my does a month before. So the girls that are going to go in first, I'll probably start fleshing the entire herd out, which means I will start feeding them grain again.
Yeah.
And I will feed them grain while they're being bred and breeding, and then I pull them off of that slowly and let them sit until the last month to 6 weeks of their gestation, and then I start graining again. Yeah.
Oh, Tasha, hello.
Hello, Tasha. How are you? How are things in your neck of the woods?
Bummer Steve said, all good. We have a couple channels booked in now, so we'll have to be in a couple weeks.
That's
so
not
don't
a problem.
Stress. We'll work it out.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think our calendar opens up a little bit. Although
it does.
We have a couple weekends.
Does. Like after
October busy. But.
Yeah. Yeah. Just let me know the dates that you're open if you don't mind, and we'll get with you.
Sandy offered some seeds.
Yes, Sandy. I would love seeds.
Yep. Ashley's always.
I would love seeds
plant.
if you will allow me to send you sunflower seeds in return for my garden.
There you go.
That's the only thing, so we can trade. Yeah, you can inbox me if you don't mind, Sandy.
Patty said that shadowing is a bit of a problem with that much space at the top. If they are positioned with ends north and south, that does help, but it would make boxes lower or put in more soil.
Yeah. I was just wondering because I was thinking about that because I'm really bad when I start my seeds to not put my grow light as close to them as I should. And I was like the queen of leggy seedlings like the first time I started seeds because like I didn't think they like the light like right on top of them. I'm like, oh, they'll be fine. Yeah. So I'm trying to cover my tracks so I don't make that same mistake again.
Yep.
I hope so, Rachel. It's just what we do here. And like I try to make sure people know when I do informational videos, like especially when it comes to like goat nutrition or how we take care of our goats or prepare for them. That's just how we do it here.
Yep.
That's what I found most success with. It could be different for you. So I just like when someone's like, it is this way and it must be, because it's like, no, there are thousands of ways to do one thing. Like that's not the only way. So feel free to take that at liberty and do what works best for you and your farm.
She asked, how much does size play into breeding? I have one that is on the smaller side.
So for Nigerian dwarfs specifically, I won't even look at them until they're about 7 months. At 7 months, I'll start really taking into consideration how their weight and the measurement from thurl to thurl. So I won't put a doe into breed unless she's at least 35 to 40 pounds already. I don't care about height, especially Nigerian dwarfs.
She does pay attention to the structure as well.
I do pay attention to structure, but that kind of depends like on the purpose of what you're breeding for. So if you're breeding for just like your backyard milkers, you're not going to sit there and be like, she's got weak shoulders, so I want to breed her to a buck with a good front end assembly, or her brisket extension is just like, so I need a buck with a great chest, which is kind of where I'm moving to, where I'm really stopping to assess my herd and thinking, well, this is to help pair up. But when it comes to measurements, I take my thumb and I put it on one thurl, and I take my index finger and I stretch it over the rump to the other thurl, if I am stretched out like this, I can breed them. But if it's, if there's wiggle room where I'm not all the way stretched out like in this portion of my hand, I don't even look at it. And the reason that we pay attention to that measurement from thurl to thurl is that's going to be a good indicator as to whether they can pass a normal sized kid through their pelvis unassisted. Because we have had small does that were older, but that thurl was not as stretched out as I would have liked it to be, and I couldn't get into reposition kids. Like those are ones where you like when they start to struggle, the vet has to be on call. We're getting prepared for a C-section and praying to God that they can get that kid turned around. Because worst case scenario, sometimes kids just don't present textbook.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a long-winded response. It's a deal. Yay! I'm excited.
We have a trade.
Sunflowers for pumpkins.
Let's see, Patty.
I can't stay too
long.
Oh, your poor back. I'm sorry to hear that.
Hopefully you feel better.
Rest. Lots of rest, Miss Patty.
Tasha said, we're good here. My dog has surgery tomorrow for a torn ACL and costing 30. Oh, man.
Whoa.
But he's 128 pounds, so it wasn't an option to let it scar over.
That's a bummer. See.
Well, hopefully he gets better soon.
Yes,
and that takes
quick recovery to your puppers.
Take care of the little guy. Or big guy.
I was going to say, you don't sound like he's a little guy.
Yeah, he's definitely not a little guy.
Lord have mercy. I hope that they heal very quickly. Very, very quickly.
Patty said, if soil is piled up too high and you grow tomatoes in there, they get so tall it's hard to reach the ones at the top of the trellises. We had to get a ladder a couple of years ago to reach mine. Oh,
that's so cool. Like for me, that's goals. Where I'm like, I hope to God one day that I have a tomato where I'm like, oh, to harvest, gotta go get the ladder. That's pretty amazing to me.
Yeah, we'll definitely have trellises. Actually, like season trellises as well.
Yes. So I think they're pretty. Aesthetics.
All blanket statements are false.
Yeah. That's funny you said that because like when I work for insurance, so like a lot of times I'm looking over endorsements and I get really irritated when they use blanket wording where I'm like, that is not always the best way to go. Yeah. But hey, to each their own.
Rachel said Millie has always been smaller than others, but is healthy. She is almost 2. I was hoping she'd grow more. Yeah,
a
couple just, like that.
Yeah, Raven was like that.
Yeah, Ashley's considering that while we're thinning the herd right now.
Yeah.
It's something she's looking
not
at.
Been easy. Yeah. Like I love my and that's why I told Mark, like I don't know if I have the mentality to really go towards like some of these performance breeders because like they are like brutally honest. They will be like, this doe is not being offered. She's a cull. And when they say cull, like they mean she's going in the dinner pot because I'm not passing on genetics that aren't at the top. They're not going to pass off an inferior animal genetically. I'm not there because like my mindset is they're cute and I love them and I bond with them and I cannot do that. But I'm slowly trying to move towards that minus like I'm going to put you in a pot if you're not the best genetic. Mine will be more, I'm going to put you in a pet home where I know you probably won't be bred because I just don't have it in me to do culling unless it's a biosecurity problem, in which case, like I have no problem culling for that.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Homer Steve said he used to have bull mastiffs.
Big puppers.
Yeah. 2 dogs.
Big puppers.
Not cheap.
Yeah, ACLs aren't cheap.
Those are big dogs.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Tasha. I know that is just like, that's never an easy decision.
Rachel said, okay, good to know. I'm new at goat breeding, so learning every day.
100%.
You always are learning, even if you've had goats for a while like us. So,
or like things that I've done for 10 years, someone will come and be like, you don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always I'm like, okay. I try not to get abrasive if one is abrasive with me to begin with, but like I'm always open here, like, why is that wrong? Because I like to do my own research. But I know there's a lot of wealth of knowledge to pull from experienced breeders. I won't even call myself an experienced breeder. At 10 years into this, like I still don't feel like I am well seasoned at it. But I'm hoping.
I've seen a lot now, though.
I have seen a lot.
Breeding, so.
Yeah. It gets to the point where you're like, someone's like called and they're like, my kid's breech. I'm like, it's cool. Just make sure like you pull. If you can see back legs and you can pull, help her because the umbilical cord is pinched. They'll suffocate. Get them out of there. But. And it's different when you're in the situation. I'm just good. And you know what? You have like the best career to make you cool and calm in just really stressful situations being a 911 dispatcher. So you will be able to stay like, you'll have that edge above other people because you'll be able to stay cool, calm, and collected in a situation where, anybody else would just be like losing their mind. I've been in those situations where I've lost my mind. And usually he is cool, calm, and collected. He can tell when I'm at the end of my ability and that my nerves or my emotions are taking over. He's like, call the vet. So, and usually if he's saying call the vet, I know like outwardly I'm showing that I'm not I'm not up for the task at hand and that I need someone to help me.
Or just a reassurance.
Yeah, because sometimes like you don't want to call the vet. You're like, it's 2:00 in the morning. I don't want to call the vet, but I also don't want the goat to die. I don't want the baby to die, but yeah. Try.
Off topic.
Oh God.
When did YouTube update the landscape chat view for phones? This makes life so much easier to watch with.
I don't know because I didn't watch. I haven't watched.
I'm so used to watching it like vertical. I've never. No.
Huh. That's kind of how they do it on Twitch. Because I'm weird and I like to watch specific people play video games.
I think that's much easier to look at.
I do too. It's very nice.
Yep.
Way to point that out. I don't know when they did that though. And I also heard that for YouTubers, like we're gonna have to do that dual, what is that called? When you have to authentication, like a dual authentication, or before like November 1st, or like we're open to have like our channel stolen or some crap like that.
Two-factor authentication.
Two-factor authentication. Yes.
What
he said.
Big words. In all fairness, she had dental work last week, and it's been killing me. It's been hanging around, so
it's not been kind to me. Well, like my dentist is like, if it still hurts in like 2 to 3 days, like give us a ring. I've waited a week, and I'm like, everything. I'm sensitive to everything. If it's too hot, I'm sensitive. If it's too cold, I'm sensitive. If I talk or I eat and I don't have ibuprofen in my system, like it gets hot and it makes me drool a lot. I think because of the pain, like it makes me salivate. And I called it a day, and I'm like, I am so sorry, but like it hurts a lot. Like I'm really sensitive. So yeah, he's like, here, I'm gonna prescribe this ultra fluoride toothpaste, which I'm like, they have prescription toothpaste.
Apparently so.
So I'm gonna get that tomorrow, but it's been like ibuprofen and Orajel. Yeah, they're like, your insurance doesn't cover it. I'm like, fantastic, I will pay for the pain relief.
Yeah.
I talked too much
for this. My sister offered clove oil, which we're going to try.
I'm going to be trying that tonight.
So
because it's actually the ibuprofen is already starting to wear off. I can feel it.
Like I got some on my hands. I was driving, and I was itching my beard, and I was like,
what does that smell? I'm like, you handled that clove oil bottle. It's probably the clove oil.
Hello, Mama Burton.
Oh, sounds good there, Sandy.
Yep, I'll mail the seeds next week. After they've dried some. There you go.
My sunflower's already hanging upside down. So we should be
waiting by the mailbox for sure.
I'm excited, Sandy. Thanks. And hey, thanks for stopping in. It's always a pleasure to see you in our chat. We do appreciate it. Oh crap, I'm like, what's new, Bruce?
You're good, Bruce. Never too late. So
never too late. How is things going for Bruce?
That reminds me, we need to get into our episode. We've been a little bit.
I know.
But we've had so many projects going on.
And then it rained all week.
One slacks if another.
Yeah.
You pick up another. So
I have one that I'm treating with Apigard. Not Apivar, Apigard. And I need to pull that out this week. And I really need to do like at least one last inspection before it gets cold. How close up to freezing temperatures do you do inspections, Bruce? Out of curiosity. Bruce is doing good. I like that you're talking about yourself in the third person.
Emma.
Hello, Emma.
Are you ready for Homesteaders
HOA?
America?
And how did your presentation go last week? Did it go okay?
That's right. She was.
I was thinking of you, but I'm in training, so like where I usually would just stop and make a message, I'm trying to learn stuff.
And Ashley's also realized working from home is like a totally different environment where you just get tied up in your work and you don't realize how late.
Like today, I'm like, I have to walk away from this. I'm like, oh my God, it's 2:00 and I haven't taken a break, and I get off at 3:30. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll take my lunch now. And I'll work an hour and I'll be done. I just don't feel like I can walk away from it because it's in my house. So like I get pretty in depth on my work.
Yeah, it's easy to get tied up. Especially when, like she said, it's in the house. You just sort of can't walk away because you're in your house. So we try to do a little outside, check the mail together. But We
to
do
try.
make a couple runs to the barn as needed, though.
Yeah, but like my animals have appreciated it because like I do all my watering and like I'll hay the bucks if they need it and take care of things like throughout the day where they don't have to wait like all day long. I pretty much do it. Go check on every break and
I
make
check
sure
the
they're
ducks
okay.
pretty much every morning. That's
He always
funny.
brings them scraps.
Yep.
They love it.
I'm trained to come to num nums. So when you say num nums, they come running.
They with their little big feet, they're like
Yeah.
quack, 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 quack.
And their heads come around alert, like, what's up?
Their little crest
What are you
rays
guys
are like,
bringing us?
what's going on?
It's hilarious.
We enjoy our ducks. If you can't tell.
Yep.
If I can't find Mark, I go to the duck pen because I know he's probably standing out there like letting the water run for them
They're
or
always
he's
doing
just
something.
looking
They're
at
always up to
them.
something.
Yeah.
Something going on down there.
Crazy.
One reason I'm working on that pen because I feel they're worthy of it.
Oh my
It will be a
gosh.
much bigger space for them though, which is nice.
It will. It was one of those things like we were mapping it out and then we got the first lane of posts done.
Yeah.
And then Mark's like, we're gonna start the garden here. I'm like, that is a huge freaking garden.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my God, it is. I'm like, go to the next post. And I'm like, that's about as big as like I can efficiently manage.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to take into account is the width. It's going to be much wider than our current garden, so ultimately, even though it's probably the same depth, it's going to be like 3 times wider.
So then when we saw where the garden starts, because after the garden, that's the duck pen, we're like, oh my gosh, this is like a huge duck pen.
Yeah.
So they are going to be living in the lap of luxury.
Emma said, I'm doing well. The presentation went really well. That's awesome.
Good.
I've been building out the front end for it this week.
Oh, good.
Cool.
I'm glad to hear your presentation. That's so stressful.
It's always a relief after, too. I had to do one today.
Yeah.
So it's funny because we actually, I was working on farm rates and introducing new rates for a state. So I had to sell the vice president of farm on, hey, you should use these. Mm-hmm. So that was fun. Ashley gets out of stress before because I'm like, hopefully he understands what these are. And I did all these algorithms and freaking formulas.
Yeah, like the last 2 days. Today he was not too terrible with calls, but Monday and Tuesday, like I didn't see him at all. It was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he'd come hustling out to like the kitchen because I actually work on like the other side of the laptop. So like behind me, this is my view almost all day. Yeah. So he'll come hustling
she gets
out.
Her desk and she'll move in.
Yeah, and then I'll move in next to him, and I'll get to hear all his stressful calls. But it's been like the week of VP and like bigwig meetings. So he's been super stressed because like his boss doesn't really know because he's new in his role too. It's like, hey, can you take this meeting? And Mark's like, sure. Why wouldn't I want to rub elbows with these people that are like 13 pay grades higher than me?
You feel dumb, so.
Yeah, you do feel dumb because they talk at a high level sometimes. Like they don't dumb it down for you.
Rachel said, oh yeah, I'm good in stressful situations, but with my animals, I worry too much.
I can totally understand that.
Yep. That's because you care for them.
Go with your gut.
Yeah.
100% go. If she looks too small, but at 2 years, like I think if she's not big enough at this point, I would give her another season and see if she grows more. Because some of them really are late bloomers.
Yeah.
Some goats they grow slower. They're smaller goats. But yeah, I'd give her another season before I made a total decision if she was going to remain in my breeding herd. But I mean, you can always have a pet too. It's okay to have a goat that doesn't serve a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I try to get outside of that utilitarian mindset sometimes because like I do love my goats, but we're running a herd of 30. So like really, unless they can stay here and from what I'm working towards, if they can't produce and enhance my herd through either productivities or genetics, I can't because there's just so many here. That makes me sound heartless. I hate that.
Emma said, we're also getting ready for my parents to get here. They left SoCal this morning and stopping in Albuquerque tonight. And girl, yes, I'm so ready for HOA.
We are so excited.
Yeah, we're on a countdown.
We were already like, hey, in 2 weeks from today, we'll be packing the car so that we can start driving the next day, tomorrow. It is that close, Emma. How heck did it get here so fast?
It's hard to believe it is. Like when we booked it, it just seems so far away. And it's funny how that
I know.
creeps up on you.
It really has. It has creeped up on us so bad. So bad. It's
Bruce
crazy.
said, I just remembered I was trying to comment on a bee video of yours and stupid YouTube wouldn't let me.
What? Was it the one where I was dumb and let build? I just forgot to put frames in. Yeah, I thought that was weird. I'm like, Bruce didn't comment on my video. Tell me
were
how to make
offended,
it
weren't
better. That's okay. YouTube is dumb. And like sometimes I get comments, but then I can't see the comments when I go on YouTube. And I know that's a known issue, but come on, YouTube, get your crap together, man.
So Natasha said, so you are definitely going to Homesteaders thing?
Yes.
Yep, we've got a hotel booked. It says, I'm
No!
debating on going, but only be able to do Saturday.
Do it. I did
Which,
shake the whole table.
I know.
So if the
It's like
screen went
the
like
screen. I was
this,
trying
I'm
to read them,
sorry.
But yeah, we're going to be down there
Friday all day and all day
both
Saturday.
days. Trying to think what days it was.
And then Saturday evening, we'll start our drive back because he actually has a machine gun show that he wants to go to. It's
Proud
the.
you remembered.
I did remember.
I know.
I
That
know
was
I
pretty
remembered because like it's the last time they're doing it. So in Knob Creek, Kentucky, there's always a machine gun shoot in October and April. And this is the last one this October. And of
all
course,
time.
it's the same weekend as HOA. So I'm like, we can go down
They've been
there.
online 50 years, and this will be the last time. Just
Why?
the
Just
owners are getting tired of
I don't
dealing
blame
with
them.
it,
That's
and-
a lot. Could you
Yeah.
imagine the
And it draws
liability
a big
payment on
crowd,
that land?
and it's pretty neat because they have like helicopters flying over, and
There are a lot of
there's a lot of
people
things
there.
going on. So they have a big flea market, and it's just cool.
It's nice when you
gathering.
get behind the shooting line and you can feel it in your diaphragm.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you know they're shooting a big gun.
Bruce said, "Yeah, that one. My comment just kept disappearing, and it was long too. I finally gave up." Aw.
Bruce, rewrite it and send it to me on Facebook. Dang it!
Ashley wants to see it.
I want to know what you said. Put it in chat now. I'm not afraid.
Haas knows. Machine gun show. Insert Tim Taylor grunt here. Yep.
More power.
I always liked when he banged his head on the pipe when he was going down the stairs.
He
that
always
pipe,
did that too.
every time. Like
good old
What is
Wilson, just yelling, "This is Wilson."
That's a great show. Speaking of that show, that was running the same era. We watched like a little thing, a clip on YouTube or video.
It
And it
was
was
36
90s
minutes
Yeah,
long.
90s commercials, like
96,
early 90s
yeah.
too, and it was funny.
It was funny though
How
because
many you remember? Like,
I remember a lot of them, and in
Mhm.
'96 I would only have been 8.
oh, was
But
that
I
the
remember
specific
a
date?
lot.
I
It was
don't remember.
'96,
Yeah,
and I
it
was like, I was
interesting.
in 3rd grade, and I remember these commercials. It was just really weird, so
Mhm.
weird.
Were you thinking about homesteading at that time?
No, I was probably thinking about Pokemon or
Yeah.
something. Honestly,
You never knew you'd be having 30 gifts.
softball or basketball or whatever I was doing at the time. I
You
had a
had
broken
horses, though.
arm. No, I didn't get horses until I was 13.
Okay.
I broke my arm when I was 8 years old, so maybe I was sitting there watching it with the cast.
There you go. Emma said you're leaving Saturday night. Wow, we're not hitting the road till
I
Sunday.
know. We really debated, but I think because we wanted to get to that machine gun show, we're like, we've got to leave Saturday night and get at least a couple hours in so that we can get to the machine gun shoot.
Which is
with a couple
near
hours,
Louisville.
yeah.
So it's
So that's still
across
2
the
hours
state
from the
Kentucky,
house.
of course. So yeah, yeah, because we originally planned on
Yeah.
Saturday night staying pretty late and then start driving,
Mhm. But then when we found this is the last one, we're like, we have
but
to
yeah,
go.
I twisted her arm. So,
Yeah. Things I do for love, guys. Oh my
Mhm.
God.
but we'll be getting down there Thursday night. So we'll actually be-
Yeah, we get down there Thursday night, and I will message you maybe like next week or something about when you're leaving. Just, I mean, you don't have to caravan with us, but like I'd like to at least know, like, if you want to meet up, like when we get down there on Thursday night or whatever. Just because I love you and I want to meet you and I want to give you a big old hug.
yeah. especially
I'm
with the photo.
excited. I know Emma's like, whoopee,
Yeah.
this lady wants to give me a big old hug.
Rachel, I'm hoping she does, but a little bit is the one I'm breeding. She is so ready, and yes, I'll keep her regardless too
Yes.
because she's sweet. Yep.
It's so bad too when you know that we just keep going into heat. I have so many screamers right now where
Yeah.
I'm like, shut up, it's not time yet.
They go down to near the buck pen. and
Yeah, they just
sit there
stand there and scream.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it, you're thirsty, but we gotta wait.
Yeah.
The heart wants what it wants.
Yeah, you've already started working on your breeding schedule a little bit too, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I got all of my maintenance done except for Sky.
Hmm.
Sky just did not want to come
And
to
we
me this
did
weekend.
end up selling 2 with the herd
Yes.
reduction, but they're sticking around because they're also wanting them to be bred.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna breed them for extra fees, and then they're actually gonna bring another doe to me after I verify that she is biosecurity panel
it was
tested.
funny though because like we have all those bucks in the pen right now because we have the kids from this year and stuff. And they were just like looking out, trying to pick, and all these bucks are just sticking their head
I
through the
know,
fence
and I'm
at
like, there's only 3 that I'm going to offer
Yeah.
for breed because they are my breeders. The others will not stay here.
Mhm.
The moment someone says they want this buck, like I'm going to be like, take it, you know. We've got an influctuation of bucks. It's a buck heavy year.
Oh, yeah. Tasha said, yeah, it's 3 hours for me, but Howie doesn't get home on Fridays until the afternoon.
Yeah.
So Saturday is the only day I could make it, but I really want to go to meet
Oh my
y'all.
gosh,
Yep.
yes.
If you
yes,
get the chance,
Tasha.
come down there.
Yes, I would love that. I want to put soap faces to all of these names.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like I feel like we're already all close. Like I feel like we're all buddies. So it's just weird. I have virtual buddies, but I want to meet you guys in real life.
Rachel said, we're going to go, but so short at work, can't get off. Sadly, just canceled our hotel room.
Boo! I hope it was one of those where you could get the refund.
Actually, I start a new job next week, but fortunately, both of us were able to keep our vacation for that. So, which is great because we'd have been depressed.
Boo! I'm so sad for you. But you guys do have your meetup that
Yep.
Oh, what is it? Is it Pacific Coast Homesteaders? You and Chip and Nicole getting that together? It's down south. Or I would be like, yes, we're going to that one too.
Events are popping up. Like there's like more and more every time we see them.
Everybody's taking the red pill, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's taking the red pill and going down the rabbit hole. Like, okay, it's time to be self-sufficient.
I mean, just like homesteader events. Like
I think that is to incorporate people, though. Yeah. Some people don't do this. Some people want face-to-face interaction.
Yeah, exactly. I think more people want to just get together and meet up and, like Ashley said, just tired of the online stuff. Get a chance to meet people in person.
I know what you're talking about, Bruce. Yeah.
I'll go back
100%.
I think you had a super do a kind of weak colony. Mm-hmm. Was that foundation or drawn? Do you remember?
It was foundation. It wasn't drawn. I thought that too.
So what she said was it was foundation.
You couldn't understand.
I know.
I know. I was really on the. Yeah, I shouldn't have. But I needed to add that feeder, and I didn't want it at the bottom because the last time I did that, it attracted too many icky ickies, and they seem like they're doing okay. But you're probably right. That probably was a mistake.
Oh, look at this comment. Emma said, for Matt's 40th birthday, I had his SWAT buddy and a gun collector take him to an outdoor range. He got to shoot and blow up some stuff. I earned some brownie points that day.
Those brownie points are important in a marriage. They are. That's what this Knob Creek is for him.
That sounds like a great 40th birthday party.
Yeah. That's really cool. Emma, you're a cool chick. This is why we get along really well.
Bruce, aside from that, taking the honeycomb from the lid was the right move.
I'm glad to hear that because I was really going to try to just go buy rubber bands and rubber band that stuff in. I'm like,
was like she did on a really hot day, and as she was
so
trying,
hot.
Yeah, it just started sliding.
It was so hot. If it had stayed, but like I'd pick it up and it would. I was like, I can't do this. So I'm glad you agreed. That was the right thing to do.
Like, frustrated at one point.
When I was hot, like it was in the point where I'm like, I need a break, but I can't leave it out there. It was like the last
time you were checking too, wasn't it?
No, I had one more, and I have not.
Yeah,
gotten
but you'd
back
already
in.
gone through a couple, so you were.
I'd gone
for
through
a while.
4 of the 5.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten to the 5th.
So you were like pouring sweat buds.
I was. It was really. It was like a 95 plus humidity
day. It was a weekday too, because I was working still.
It was when I took a week off before I started my new job. Or when I was sick, using sick days before I left my other job.
Just treat bucks like roos. Eat them.
That's pretty much what people do. We actually have a livestock auction. If they don't move by breeding season, that's where they'll go.
Yeah, we've tried to eat a couple, but
they're sweet and they love me. And they look at me in the eye.
Yeah, we bought one, no lie, to actually try to butcher ourselves and eat. And this was like, what, 10 years ago?
When we first started.
Yeah.
His name was Buddy.
Yeah, my daughter named him Buddy. And guess what? Buddy became a buddy to us and just stuck around the farm. So
never had to deworm that sucker, cut his hooves. He was the healthiest goat on the farm.
The sad point is, even though we didn't eat him, we sold him to somebody. So
that was so awful.
Yeah.
He asked though, he's like, I intend to eat this goat. Is this okay with you? Yeah. And like he was being really mean to my Nigerian dwarfs, and he was butting them while they were pregnant. And I'm like, I can't have that.
Hurting our does. So.
Yeah, I was like, they're going to abort if he keeps doing that. So they loaded him into the trunk of a Civic.
I said, well, I'm at HOA, y'all should tell all the channels to join HMG21.
Yes.
We're only at
Harvest
32.
Moon giveaway.
There we go.
You're only at 32 hosts? How?
How many did I have last year?
I feel like you had a lot.
I feel like I was
You
a
had
ton
a
last
lot
year.
last year, didn't you? It might be it, but like I remember last year too. Like it surged towards the end because like
Yep.
everybody wanted to get in on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want to do. I'm just waiting for the freaking weather to clear up so I can shoot a video that's not inside.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to shoot in my house.
Though. Remember all the excitement around it?
It was really fun. Super duper fun. And that's where I met Margie.
Mm-hmm.
We love Margie. No cancellation fee.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's so good.
And we're so disappointed. Don't blame you. That's terrible they can't come.
I know, but maybe next year.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
or another meetup.
Yeah. Gulf Coast Wet Homesteaders. Pacific is on the other.
Oh, is that the one you were talking about?
Yes, and they're in Florida, and I'm like, oh no, Pacific. No, not Pacific. It's been a really long week, Rachel. I'm sorry. I knew you guys were putting it on. You guys look like you're gonna have like really great speakers and everything. If we were just not so far north, that would be 100% on our list.
Oh, and Dusty Goat Homestead
and Hidden Oak Homestead. Yeah, you guys got some pretty cool stuff going on down there. That's really neat. We had 87.
What's that?
No, this one's fine.
Oh, we had 87 last year.
How much longer do you got though? Gotta look at the bright side there, Haas.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good for like if you push for like the smaller channels too. Because it did help us get a kick in the right direction.
Does his 32 count you? Did you confirm?
Not yet.
Oh, there you go, Haas.
33.
There we go.
33.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I've seen that you, Chip, and Nicole have been really working to make it fantastic. That's a lot of work, though. Like putting on anything for a gathering for people to come together. It's down in Florida.
So that means that will be a bucket list when we got to
be a bucket list. If you guys do it next year, oh my goodness.
Joe would love that too.
Joe would. We might have to skip fall break though for that. We could just fly down, you and me.
Yeah. Joe would like Florida though. She would get kicked out.
We're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking. Yeah. You're trying to plan for next year. Because this year, like, everything opened up and people were having the meetups, but it was just like one of those years where I'm like, I can't keep a hold of anything.
Yep.
Chasing my tail too much.
I said October 10th is the last day to send me the winner.
Okay.
If I can read. But
that's not too far off. But you have time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I slid in like right at the end last year.
Yep.
That's when that lady was not nice to me about deer hunting. Commenting on deer hunting. I'm like, homesteading, self-sufficient, harvesting meat from the land without steroids and hormones and all that good stuff. But okay, cool.
Tasha said there's that Okie Homestead meeting, I think in March, but that's too far for me.
Yeah. That one looks like so much fun too. I saw all kinds of things on this last year when they did it. I just need to not have things that tie me down.
Maybe one year we just like drive around and go to homestead meetings.
Yeah. March, maybe if I make sure all my kids come like in early April, mid-April, like I did, and not nobody in March, I can make that happen. If I feel make it happen.
Emma said, I was trying to figure out what to give away. I'm thinking of hand-carved wooden spoons. Oh, that'd be cool.
Please do that, Emma.
Yeah, me and Ashley actually were talking about that in the car.
Yeah.
And I think we mentioned earlier, now we got swag, so that probably be part of it. But she always wants to include something that's from our farm.
Something from us, not just like.
Because last year you did the sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
That were part.
So. Yeah. I always get so many sunflower seeds.
Mm-hmm.
If I can beat the birds to them, they make a really good run for them there for a little while.
It'd be hard to ship mulberry trees. I've always asked for saplings.
Well, I've been looking for saplings because I owe one to Emma.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Emma, how many do you want? I've been trying to look. It's just been one of those weird years where I'm like,
it's not a great time of year.
Well, it would be good for her to put them in this time of year, though, because then they're asleep, so they're not worried about growing.
True.
Right? Am I right, guys? Fall time is the best time for fruit trees because they're not trying to like grow and produce. They're actually going to sleep.
Dormant. Yeah. That's what I've heard too. So.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm sorry I got so long-winded on my stupid goat talk. I plan to make a series off of that breeding just because I feel like it would be helpful. There have been a lot of things that we've done trial and error here, like on whether we space them out or we just have them all in a flurry or all that good stuff that can cause you a lot of stress if you don't plan ahead for it.
I'm gonna say I might try to make the Oki Expo in March. It's not too far.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take it with you.
I know it's a little far out.
We're like, take us with you.
We're trying to make this an annual.
Oh,
event.
good.
Rachel
Well,
said,
then
that'd be cool.
I really hope you guys have a good turnout this year because like it would be nice to go to that one next year.
It'd be neat to
for
see
us.
it continue.
Yeah.
Haas. Fall time is the best time for everything.
It really
Especially
is.
outdoor bonfires.
It really is. But I'm really bummed because like I got COVID right when I usually pick up my bow to start practicing for deer season, and now deer season is next weekend. And I'm just now starting to feel good enough. So I'm like, I'm going to pick up my bow and start again. But then I'm like, I probably won't make opener because I don't feel like I'll be efficient or accurate enough unless there's some kind of miracle from God. I'll just be praying extra hard for that.
And one thing I like about fall too is the bugs die down. Because if I walk outside and there's a bug within an acre, they will come and find me.
They will find him.
I don't know why. But
like Liam Neeson, I will find you.
I will get bit by a mosquito every night I'm out.
He will get swarmed. I'm like, you got bugs on? He's like, yeah. I'm like,
and she's
I don't
just
have
sitting over
any.
there fine, yeah.
They just know I'm a sourpuss.
In the screen.
Yep.
And the bugs will not go to that, but I'm sitting in the dark and they will.
They know I am a hateful sourpuss and I am no good.
Mm.
They know you're sweet.
Yeah, well, I do like sweet foods. I have a sweet tooth, so
you do.
Maybe that's why.
He does have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
See, she's wanting some saplings. However many I can. I will
go out and find them. I'd bring you a big tree because we got to take one out actually because it's grown into the driveway.
It is a really big tree though. I don't know how we'll
have to wait till because it's actually like partially over our driveway, and I think if we cut it down in the way it's leaning, it would actually fall a little bit into the field next door, and I don't want to tear up his corn. So
maybe I can cut off some branches and get saplings started that way and some water and stuff, and have them to you at HOA. But then you will have to take care of saplings the whole time.
The bittersweet. We gave out some bittersweet saplings. Our bittersweet.
It's toxic
down
for
by
everything,
our ducks is.
It's super pretty and it loves it down there
because on that thing is.
It's no joke, like that big around, guys, and it's just because it likes the nitrates from the ducks and the chickens that were down there at one point.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason it likes it there.
They get pretty cool berries in the
orange, beautiful orange berries.
Yeah.
Here in about the next month. Super toxic to goats or chickens and ducks.
Some of mom does crafts and she uses them a lot on race, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so we always get cuttings and give them to her. She says, I'm debating on breeding my goats, but I don't know when we will move because we're still. I know what you mean.
Pregnant goats, yeah.
I know what you
mean. Is hard on them, anyways. But when they're pregnant,
and they stress so easy, Yeah,
actually, even when we sell ours and they have to travel,
I pump them.
Yeah,
I pump them full of like Nutri-Drench and probiotic and Jumpstart to keep them lifted, because if they stress, that drops their immune system and makes them vulnerable. And then someone is going to call me in a week saying, you gave me a wormy goat. I'm like, no, it's stressed out on the way there and picked up the worms in your area.
And the same method for when we bring them onto our farm.
Yeah. But they go into quarantine, and a lot of people don't really practice that too much, which is fine. To each their own.
Yep. Rachel said, if the interest continues, we'll definitely do it. Going to see how this one goes and goes from there.
It looks like you guys are putting together like a really nice meetup though. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like the speakers and oh my goodness, and your venue is beautiful. It was like can you tell I've been kind of going into stalker mode on Facebook a little bit?
It's been looking.
Like I asked about this goat the other day just to prove what a stalker I am on Facebook. He doesn't know I inquired about a goat, but I inquired. And it was from one of the local breeders who's like nationally known. And she's like, oh, it's this doe from this breeder. I'm like, oh, she's like an hour away. She's like, I don't have any pictures of the udder or the goat. And like, seriously, within 2 seconds, I had a picture. I'm like, is this the goat? Is this the sire's dam? And like, yes. I'm like, I'm a stalker with Google and Facebook. I found the picture. I was like, is this it? I will find you. You could tell like I was giving out major stalker vibes for a goat, but I needed to know.
You're like the Sherlock of goats.
I will take that as a compliment, sir. Thank you.
You do that. Haas said, get a bat house. One bat eats over 1,000 mosquitoes a night.
We have a bat house.
We do.
And there are lots of bats here.
The mosquitoes love me too, and they find me.
The bats don't like
Funny
me.
Story one time is pretty early when we moved out here. There's a bat flying around, and
I
Ashley's
knew
like,
you were going to tell the story.
Josie, come out here and look at the bat with me. And she goes out in the yard, and the bat swoops down close to Ashley's head. So Ashley starts screaming. Well, then Josie, who's only probably 3 or 4 at that point, panics and just starts darting across the yard because she has no idea where to run.
Panic-stricken face.
Yeah. And honestly, she's pretty small. So she was small with like really long hair. You just see her booking across the yard with her hair fluffed.
Running around us.
Oh, I lost it. Yeah.
And I'm just Mother of the Year like that. Like, I'm like, don't be afraid of these things.
Yeah,
let's go look at them. And I invite them to come freak me out and make me a lion.
In all honesty, it did swoop pretty close to your head. Yeah.
You so close to my face.
That was entertaining. It's like this little moment.
So close, where I was like, bat gonna get me.
Yeah. Poor good people.
Bad.
We crack up over those moments. Emma said you need some of that bug sound from Casey at Boots and Bounty.
Yes. I'll have to go look and make some for him. Yeah. He wouldn't smell so darn good all the time. He might not want to get close to you either.
I doubt that's the truth.
You just need to be stinky, gross old man.
And the worst part is, it's frustrating, but when I'm working on something, and of course you're hot and sweaty and like out there working, and the flies will land on my head. So I'm trying to talk to her, and she'll just like lock in on the fly on my bald scalp that's running across.
Trying to give me directions on what I'm supposed to be doing.
Like, the whole time she's just locked in. And I'm like, I have a fly on my head, don't I? And she's like, yeah. And I have to repeat everything I say because she's cracking up.
Sometimes it's a congregation where I'm like, how many flies are going to land on your head before you do this?
That's what sucks about being bald, because if you had hair, you don't know. Real life problems on the homestead.
That's all right, Sweeney Squeak. We enjoy having you here and putting up with the craziness that is us.
Tasha said, yeah, I'm going to probably pass this season. My girls are still nursing their babies, and they're 6 months and older. Yep.
Hey, sometimes I still got girls out there that are 4 and 5 months. Yep.
When will they stop?
When mommy gets bred again.
Yeah. What's the milking length on a Nigerian typically? Isn't it 10 months or something like that? Like you can if you milked them? I thought there was like a...
You can pretty much milk a goat as long as it'll produce.
Yeah.
I mean...
Like ours had trouble though. Like she was trying to milk them out or keep them in
milk. It was 98 degrees.
Yeah,
it was hot and humid. I was like, I wouldn't want to produce milk and be milked either.
It was like 9 10 months they sort of slowed down. Like you have to really
and if you're like going... That's like if you do milk testing and stuff like that. So like my girls went to 150 days, which is roughly 5 months before I was like, I'm done, you're done, linear appraisals are not happening. I'm going to dry you up and prepare you for breeding season. But like you can breed your dairy goats all the way up till them being bred for their next group of kids. You just need to give them those last 2 months.
Yeah.
So you can milk them the first 3 months of their gestation, but then you need to dry them off and let them have the nutrients for their new kids. And some of those dairy does that they're just built for it. Like it takes nothing from them. And there are others where it will take a lot. You just have to know your goat.
Yep. If you bite a mosquito back, your legend will spread and they'll leave you alone.
So making the Chuck Norris. Yeah, I was gonna say
that's like Chuck Norris stuff right there.
Mosquitoes don't bite Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris bites mosquitoes.
Ashley's gonna run around the yard trying to chomp one.
What are you doing?
Bite my tongue.
Becoming a legend.
Yeah. Let's see, Rachel said, I'm not sure that link will work, but there it is. You can look us up on Facebook, Dusty Goat Homestead.
Awesome.
Request it and follow all the links there. Yep, definitely.
I don't know if it let you. It may have blocked you.
I think it did.
I think Nightbot said nope. Emma, are you still in here?
Here's the location now. Looks like Homestead J, Florida, October 24th, Helen Farms, Evans Trail Event Barn.
Yeah.
There we go.
Emma, if you're still in here, can you grab that link and post it for her? Since you're a mod, I know you can do it, but I think Nightbot doesn't want her to do it. Nightbot thinks it's spam. And if not, that's okay. Like I will put it in the description at the end of this live.
Nightbot, quit your over.
What's happening, guys? From Thor Haven, we've been waiting for you, Darren.
Sorry we're late. Hope you're doing amazing, and the gods have been smiling.
They have been smiling on us a
through
lot.
all the rain.
Through rain. They've been smiling through rain, but the rain is going to end tomorrow, so it'll get better.
You're hot sweating. Yes, that's what the flies think as well, Dad, apparently. Ashley just laughs at me.
I do, and then I get transfixed on these flies that are on him, and like he just has no idea. I'm like, how do you not? You have nothing here. How do you not feel it?
I don't know.
Do you have no
Just
nerve
feels like
endings?
sweat.
Can you feel this?
Yes, I can feel that.
Can you feel this? Like your little light.
Mm-hmm.
Gets the noise like.
Don't mind it.
He has
Rachel
to live
said
with this.
the barn is beautiful. Such a pretty place out there. For
It
sure.
really is.
Mhm.
Like I was very impressed. I was like, I wish we were closer.
Mhm. Some of those event barns are really cool now.
Yeah, they
especially
are.
when they redo old ones.
They're so beautiful.
They even actually built a new one that looks old out by us.
Yeah.
That Hanover.
Yeah, they did. We are 16 days.
Oh wow, the countdown.
I can't wait.
That's coming up fast.
I can't wait.
You definitely have to grab footage of that.
So 2 weeks from today, you'll be 2 days away. Yes.
And at least give me a warning, like I said, so Ashley.
Okay, so he can block you from my Facebook
Yeah.
page.
Or at least I can prepare for Ashley to beg.
Now there's going to be
for a Highland
baby
cow.
hairy coos on Facebook, and you must resist them.
Oh, yeah.
It will be on YouTube too. Don't watch it, but I will watch it, and then I will want for a hairy coo. Which is how it's going to
What
go.
was the name you picked out for one?
Farragus. Farragus. Farragus, the hairy coo.
Oh, here's the link.
5 hots.
Gulf Coast Homesteaders Meetup.
There you go.
October
Thank
24th.
you, Emma. You're so fantastic.
That is awesome.
So if any of you are down in the southern part by the Gulf Coast and you want to meet up with other homesteaders, visit this link and they'll hook you up with other people, with like-minded individuals, with self-sufficiency, awesomeness around the Gulf Coast.
Sorry, I started petting one dog with my foot, and now both dogs are underneath.
I know there's a mosh pit happening underneath the table right now.
One of the dogs can't sit still when you pet him, and the other one just lays across the entire.
This is what I deal with all day. And they aren't, now that I'm home, they don't sit in the room with him. They sit out here with me. I'm like, kids.
Yep.
The cats do look like Ewoks. They do.
Yep. Brigitte is going to send you videos by Facebook.
Yes, Brigitte.
Right.
Oh, the hairy coo videos.
See, now Ewoks I like, so maybe that might be a winning.
Whatever.
Yep.
I'll name an Ewok for you.
Yeah, that might be a winning
Farragus
argument.
and Ewok.
If they can make the little sounds Ewoks make.
I will
Remember I
trade
had
it.
the ringtone with that
You
on there?
did, and it freaked people out all the time.
I found out it was like people would get worried when you heard it like randomly in public. Like,
It's like,
especially when you're at work in a bunch of cubicles and you hear that.
Yeah, it was weird. It's very weird. It always made people go.
Like, what's going on? Is the Lala Farm going to be at the Gulf Coast meetup?
Goodness, I love the Lala Farm. I love them and their love for goats. Okay, I don't know what dog part is on my foot. It's an armpit. Okay. I was worried. Sometimes when they lay on your foot and I've got bare feet, I get really worried what part is on me. We have gassy dogs, and that is why I don't want any hot air on my foot. Look. So gross.
Darren likes the Ewoks.
You like
we're
that,
a fan
Darren?
of them. For sure.
Oh, goodness. I don't know. Do you know, Rachel, if Lala Farms is going to be down there? Tasha wants to know. They're pretty awesome, aren't they, Tasha? I love them.
Are they from that area? Do you know for sure?
Yeah, they're a little bit more southern than we are.
There's a lot of homesteads in the south.
I know. Because they're smart.
like-
You get longer growing seasons.
I feel like we have all these farms around us, but there's not like really homesteaders around us.
No,
We got
we're more like
Farmer
actual.
Brad is close.
Yeah, Farmer Brad is close, but like we live in like true agricultural
Mhm.
lands where it like harvest time will be coming very, very soon. Like all the corn is already.
Which is wild because you'll drive down the roads and like even at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m.
They'll
lights
still be out
in
in
the field.
harvesters.
Yep.
Especially if bad weather's coming through and they know they won't get a window for a few days, then they'll be out there all night long. It's tough. That's why you get
Ewoks,
harvest
funny,
windows.
cuddly, and stone cold killer.
Yes, right.
Definitely.
Who would not freaking love that?
That's a pretty awesome title for 'em.
Has the nastiest, yeah. It does. Ours are just really bad for like really stretching to like itch themselves and doing like the just the not full on farts, but like it just eked out and it just grosses me out where I'm like just fart. Just fart. Like I don't need like these weird eking exhaust fumes. Just get it out of your system.
I like how she squaws in. They're such nice people in with that comment.
Yeah. They are nice people.
I honestly thought for sure she was talking about the Mastiff at first.
It's
I
still
took
a
a
nice
second
dog.
catch. Yeah.
It does have the worst parts ever. Oh gosh. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and close it up.
Yeah.
Because we still have to close up the barn, the chickens, the ducks, all that good stuff. I don't know why we don't do it before, because now I think we're just trying to adjust to the time change, or like, well,
We had to go
the
pick
daytime
up
period,
so
because it's
Wednesdays,
it's
she
dark now. Like when we log on again to do this, and
Mhm.
before it was still like daylight till night.
We
And
got all the animal fart coming.
oh my god,
Our littlest kitten has the worst farts.
cat farts are terrible. I don't know what it is about them, but it's like, what did you eat? Like, yeah. Okay, guys. As much as I want to stay and talk animal farts, I think we're gonna call it quits. Thank you guys for being here with us this week. We will see you next Wednesday. And you guys make sure that you're being kind to one another out there and staying safe.
Yep.
Okay?
Have a great night. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.